Hello there, my very good friends. Andy Murray here for What Culture Wrestling, and after the events of the past few days, we know that Andrade is on his way out of WWE. Or at least he wants to be on his way out of WWE, because as reported by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, the company have said no, we are not going to release you. They have turned down his request. Now, this isn't anything new. Generally, if WWE think that you can go elsewhere and be a star, if they think you can go to an AEW or a New Japan and help benefit their business, they're going to hold on to you as long as they can. We know this from Neville. We know this from The Revival, Luke Harper, and countless other examples. For now, Andrade is just going to have to stay put. But today we are going to break down what brought us to this point, the deep-rooted problem within WWE that led to this guy who, with Zelina Vega as manager, had everything and looked set for megastardom. We're going to look at what led to him saying, hey, I don't want to be part of the biggest wrestling promotion in the world anymore. Let's break it down. So why do I say that Andrade looked certain for megastardom in WWE? Well, it's because with Vega as his manager, they had it all. They were the complete act, not just a complete pro wrestling act, but a complete sports entertainment act. Now, if you look at where Andrade was early in his WWE career, his first run in NXT when he had the suspenders and the hat and he was a babyface, it didn't quite connect. In fact, it looked for a time that Andrade was well on his way to becoming the first true bust of the modern NXT era. We always knew this guy was a tremendous wrestler. We always knew he had great physical charisma and a great look. But the guy wasn't delivering performances and wasn't being presented at the same level as he was when he was La Sombra in CMLL and New Japan. Well, that all changed when Zelina Vega came along. They were one of the most effective wrestler-manager pairings in years. You took the one most obvious weakness of Andrade, the one big barrier to his success in WWE. What was that? Promos. English was not his first language, and as we all know, Vince McMahon likes people he's going to push to be able to talk at length on the microphone in English. Fortunately for Andrade, Zelina Vega can talk. She's great at it. She is a very skilled performer all round, and her promos are probably at the very top of her abilities. So you put them together, they complement each other perfectly. They are a perfect act. I mean, what's their weakness? What was Zelina Vega and Andrade's weakness on screen together? I can't think of a single one. And while it's always popular to go, hey, this person was a lot better in NXT than they were on the main roster, and that's probably true of Andrade, particularly in his last year or so in NXT, let's not pretend that he didn't have his highlights on the main roster. The Rey Mysterio feud in particular was phenomenal. However, you get to 2020 and there's some clear problems, right? Andrade was on TV most weeks. He was the US champion for 150 odd days, which is good by modern standards. But he was rarely booked in a position of prominence. And then they put the stable together with Angel Garza, and again you think, hey, this is really cool. These guys complement each other really well. But it doesn't work out. Every time they're on television, it feels like whether it's Garza or Andrade or Vega, they're just getting their ass kicked. And it sucked. Fast forward to October, they've split. They've gone their separate ways. Andrade is taken off television. He's got a minor surgery, we are told, to take care of. And as for Vega, well, we all know what happened there. She was out of the company by the following month. And now here we are in March. 6 whole months have passed since Andrade was last on WWE television. 6 months for a minor surgery. Really? But I think it's safe to say, like objectively, he has not broken through as the megastar he perhaps could have been in this company with Zelina Vega as his manager. Why is that? Well, a lot of people would point to the English language thing as a reason behind that, but I don't buy it, man. I mean, this guy was asked to go to classes and improve his English. He did that, and his English is demonstrably better today than it was when he first came in. But besides all that, he has Zelina Vega, one of the best managerial talkers in the business, to do it for him. I just don't think that was an issue. And obviously, in-ring ability has never been an issue for this guy. He's been great for a long time, long before he came into WWE in the first place. He's got a great look as well, so, and it sounds, you know, from the reports of him attending these English classes and everything else, and, you know, working endless house shows and everything that comes with grinding your way through WWE, I don't think application was a problem either. So the problem isn't skill, it isn't charisma, it isn't application. What could it possibly be? Well, friends, I believe that it's not an Andrade problem or a Vega problem. I believe that it's a WWE problem. And it's a very specific problem that the company has been trying to solve for well over a decade. We have been told anytime somebody from a Hispanic or Latino background enters WWE, that this is going to be the person that WWE has pinpointed to become the next big star for its Spanish-speaking audience. This is the avatar that they are going to use to appeal to a critical demographic, a big percentage of their audience. And it always comes with a cursed tagline, and one that I personally would prefer we just stopped using entirely. The next Rey Mysterio, or the next Eddie Guerrero. I mean, hell, we've seen it with Garza recently. It was reported last year that people backstage in WWE see the guy as the next Guerrero. That was widely reported. But now, aside from occasionally bumming around with The Miz and John Morrison, he's not even on Raw. And there's a long list of people that WWE have tried to use as like this person who can really capitalize on their Spanish language audience. Guys like Alberto Del Rio, who, you know, had his own reasons for failing. Maybe the odd attitude deal here and there, not always the most engaging on-screen performer as well. Then you've got someone like Sin Cara, the original Sin Cara, Mystico, Caristico, a tremendous luchador, a massive draw in his homeland of Mexico. But he was brought onto WWE TV with minimal preparation, thrown into this environment, told, hey, you've got to wrestle American now, Chief. You've got to, you know, you can't just do your own style. You've got to fit our mold. And what happened? He made mistakes. The botches became part of his legacy, and he failed. But the thing is, with Andrade, you can't use any of these things as the reason he has not become a WWE megastar. He's not a botcher. He has no behavioral issues that have ever been reported. The guy has applied himself, by all accounts, to his WWE career very well. So again, the problem isn't an Andrade problem, it's a WWE problem. All the pieces were in place for this guy to become a huge star, not just for a certain demographic, but for the whole company. Charisma, promos with Zelina Vega, match quality, everything else, they had it in spades. The problem is that in this quest to, and I hate these comparisons, I really do, find the next Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio, WWE has no idea how to do that. Generally speaking, the list of traditional stars in modern pro wrestling, like full-timers on the WWE roster especially, is very small. And I'm talking about people who have a track record of moving business in the right direction via TV ratings, attendances, merch sales, everything else. In WWE, you can generally count them on one hand. I don't know why I'm balling a fist. It's about 3 or 4 or 5 names. It's not a long one at all. And Andrade is just another guy who failed to make that list. So in a way, it shouldn't come as a huge surprise that the WWE system has failed Andrade, because this company has been failing to find that Spanish-speaking star for the longest time, to the point where their biggest star for that demographic is still Rey Mysterio, and he's over on SmackDown now, of course, with his son Dominic. Over on Raw at the moment, you've got the latest example. Damian Priest, who the other month was just reported as the next person for this role. He's got Bad Bunny beside him, and look, I think Damian Priest is tremendous. If you let that guy succeed or get over on his own merits, I think he would be just fine. But it's a cursed comparison. So good luck to him. And that, my friends, is the problem about Andrade that nobody wants to talk about at the moment. It is a systemic issue. The quest to find this new big Spanish language star is impossible under the current WWE star-making machine, which barely works for anyone. And I get the impression that when Andrade leaves WWE finally, and when his non-compete expires, and when he signs with another promotion, he is going to prove all of this to be true. Anyway guys, that's it. My take on the Andrade situation is done, but as always, I'm interested in your thoughts, so go ahead and fire them off down in the comment section below. After that, you can like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Then you can follow us on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE and myself at Andy H. Murray, where you can tell me how wrong I am. Goodbye.